Welcome back, guys, to the 10th episode of the Road to Glory series. And today we have Silverstone. After points finished in the last race in Austria, we have been overtaken by Williams and Alfa Romeo in the performance charts. We are P12 in the championship. We have 6 points over Williams and 11 and 13 points to Alpine and AlphaTauri. So in today's episode we are looking to perhaps score a bit more. Silverstone is the absolute best AI circuit, I think, on this game. But we head into qualifying. Compared to the last episode, we don't have as much screen tearing in qualifying here, but after this I did finally fix it completely, so I shouldn't have that issue anymore. But unfortunately we do spin on last attempt here in Q1, but we had set a good time before, and we make it into Q2 1.5 seconds off the pace of the pole sitter there. So into Q2 we go. We had a fair bit of margin to the last P16, but we are gonna jump into Q2 here. We are at the end of our lap, and we haven't made it to Q3 yet this season. But we have been getting stronger and stronger in qualifying. We rarely get kicked out in Q1 anymore, but Q2 is where it ends for us. P13. We out qualify both the Aston Martins. So let's see what we can do.
Grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly and Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Ocon, Ellis and Vettel, Stroll, Raikkonen, George Russell and Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
It is raining at Silverstone. In other words, it's normal British weather. The 5 lights have gone and away we go. We start in P13, and off the line we lose a couple of positions. We re-overtake on the outside of turn 1, but I'm not very confident with this car in the wet. Most of these setups are based on the dry. The car is not very responsive as it is in the dry conditions, so you have to take or make the best out of the situation when you're driving in the wet. Fortunately enough, we haven't had that many wet races so far, but so far so good on lap 1. We find Tsunoda here a bit out of pace. Maybe we can dive on the inside. Yes, we can. We have a cheeky little touch there on his front right tire. So P11 is our spot right now, and we have Alonso ahead. Now, we have been able to fight with Alonso before. We managed to chase him for multiple laps in Austria, and eventually we outpaced him and scored a P9. But here the Alpine has time to show perhaps what they are good at. Maybe downforce, maybe they have some some hidden powers in the wet. Alonso is a great driver in the wet, but we skip to the end of the second lap, and we have a little moment as Stroll hit us on the side, and now you can see how much I really struggle with this car. As it is, we check for some damage, but Jeff does not think anything was damaged, so on we go. We are still P11, but we have skipped to lap 9, and the pace difference of me and P10 is at this point multiple seconds a lap. We are almost an entire pit stop behind, and it feels like the car is damaged in some way, because even in previous wet races, even in wet qualifying, we haven't been this much off the pace. Now I've mentioned it before, but there's this random bug where if you get a message from Jeff telling you that you have an engine issue, and he resolves it, that you get some understeer or some bad acceleration out of corners that hasn't been fixed.
We're expecting you in around 2 laps, and we'll be putting you on the intermediate.
Now here's where I panic a bit. 2 laps later, I've lost another 3 seconds to Alonso. We are still P11, and we are defending well against the Alfa Romeo, and we managed to create a gap to Raikkonen, but we cannot shrink this gap in front of us. But then I thought maybe if we stay on this tire to the end of the race and we buy ourselves a pit stop worth of time, we could score a point, perhaps. Maybe all it takes is for one car to DNF a mechanical failure and we score a point. We just have to survive to the end and defend. The time doesn't matter at this point. Lap 19, sorry, and we are nowhere close. They have over a pit stops gap to us, and it doesn't look like luck is gonna favor us today.
The gap to the car behind is 4.3
We've still managed to keep P11 though, and we seem to be outpacing one Alpine, but not the other. I don't know why that is. Perhaps it's because normally you can follow a car in the rain and sort of outbrake them into every corner, and bit by bit you can outpace them. But Russell catches me, and while he does that, we try to defend a bit, but we have to let this Mercedes go. But while we let them go, we need to be very careful not to give Russell any space. And now, for whatever it's worth, we need to get away from Russell. You can see the tire wear there. My fronts are completely dead. I have no pace whatsoever, and here comes Russell, tries to overtake me. We close the door. We're playing very, very dirty right now, trying not to lose the position. We are still playing for the only winning condition we have. Somebody in the top 10 has to DNF, as Russell tries to go on the inside there, and he doesn't have enough space for his car, and we both wobble a bit.
There's 5 laps of fuel
lap
remaining.
23, we skip to lap 24 now. Not skip, we cross the line. What am I talking about? And Russell then runs into the side of me, and I think he does pick up damage there, if I remember correctly. We managed to get some time on him, but with 2 laps to go we have reached 60% tire wear on our front left, and we are almost at this point doubling our tire wear on the front to the rears. They're front limited circuit, but we have a yellow flag in sector 3, and Aston Martin is standing still.
There's
And I
4 laps
thought
of fuel
here
remaining.
is the perfect time for a safety car. Maybe we could get a point, not box and dive on the inside of a corner to get P10, but no. The Mercedes cars drive past, and
Caution.
the Aston Martin
Caution.
is back on track and going into the pits. I have no clue what happened to that car. But Valtteri Bottas wins this race, and because we are lapped, this is gonna be our final lap. Latifi has caught up to us. A strong finish for the Williams car in P12. We managed P11. Unlucky for us, but we move to the next race.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Nicholas Latifi gets my vote today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Yeah, I have no clue what happened to the pace here. Look at my best time and Latifi's best time. We are on pace with each other, but everyone else is hitting 36, 37s. The Alpines are hitting 38s. Very weird scenario. I don't know what happened.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
And it sucks that into the Hungarian race we have a part that failed. So we're gonna stay at the bottom of the performance
We
charts.
had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Any
Yeah.
redevelopments will need to be
Both
ordered
the
from
aero
R&D
and the
screen.
chassis failed, and we have another major what do you call it, thing coming in. That's gonna be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.